Everyone. I hope you are doing well. So today I wanted to make a quick little video on shadow work, what this really means for you on your awakening journey, because it is going to look different for everybody, and really something I learned along my journey that I'd love to share with you. Now, if you are on an awakening journey, shadow work is something that is going to come up for you no matter what, but it's something that you do not have to worry about. Shadow work is something that will find you along your journey, you know that it needs to be dealt with, and you will process it and heal from it as you move along. Now, the most interesting part for me on this journey, though, was that when I first heard the word shadow work, I thought, I don't know how this is going to apply to me. I am somebody who processes pain as I, come through challenges in my life, and I really don't know what's going to show up for me. Sure enough, as I moved along, there were things that I could have never imagined that popped up for me. One, because it wasn't just my own. It had, of course, if you're a curse breaker, you will experience things coming up from your family and your lineage that you are dealing with, whether you're aware of it or not. But apart from that, there are things that you may think are your strengths on this journey, and you will learn that that is something that you need to work through as well. And in this video, I kind of want to quickly share what that was for me and how you possibly may experience the same thing. So, what do we really want to understand about shadow work? Well, these are basically the unseen, hidden parts of ourselves that need to be brought to light. Now, we could have multiple, areas of our life, our old patterns, old wounds that need to really be looked at, healed from. And so they do come one at a time along on your journey. And it's not to say that you couldn't have some of them come all together. That could happen. But, really the point here is that you don't need to go looking for them. They will make themselves known to you as you move along. Now, one of the most surprising discoveries on my particular journey was when I learned that I really needed to take care of my own perfectionism. Now, here's the problem with this. This is something prior to my awakening, prior to my ego, dissolution phase, I really took a lot of pride in. As part of my old identity, this was something that was really dear to me in terms of the organization that I did, planned ahead, saw things other people didn't do, and really went through everything with a fine-tooth comb. In fact, I was known for it. People would come to me to say, can you give this a second look, just to make sure I didn't miss anything? And what I thought was my greatest strength was really, shown to me during my awakening when I was going through all my shadow work in terms of what was surfacing for me. I really had to take care of perfectionism. So, what I'm trying to say here is that as much as we think of shadow work as something negative, it's really just the unseen, and the perspective on it will shift when you are going through an ego death. Now, if I could really take what would be my perspective on this is that prior to my awakening, when I was leading my life through my egoic identity, loved who I was, loved my career, I took a lot of, pride in doing the work that I did. And so being that perfectionist suited well for what I was doing and how I was leading my life. Now, fast forward to after my awakening, when I had to start to take a look at everything that stands in my way from being my authentic self, perfectionism actually was standing in the way. And this was, surfacing for me over and over in terms of being able to deal with that. So as much as we think of shadow work as being something, negative, something that's going to be trauma related, it might not be. It might just be little habits and patterns that we have accumulated over the years that need to be let go. Now, in case you're sitting there and listening to this and going, but why or what is so wrong with perfectionism? This is something that, I possibly have too. A lot of people out there are perfectionists, and they take a lot of pride in, being the perfectionist that they are. And while that's great, in your awakening journey, going through what you go through, this is something that you will possibly have to let go of if it's, hindering your path as it was mine. I'll tell you in my case why perfectionism is not helpful. Well, in, going through your awakening journey, you are meant to come into the present moment. You are regulating your nervous system, trying to relax more, and perfectionism will get in the way of you getting there. So just to kind of show you how really it could be a hindrance, as much as, we in society take a look at perfectionism as being a great thing, and our old ego identities, associated with our career world, for, whatever profession we're tied to, it might be a great thing, but not so much when you are on your awakening journey and just trying to be in that flow of life and being more trusting of what's to come more naturally. If you are always trying to aim for that perfectionism, you will always have your backup, not be in that relaxed state that is much needed. And therefore, it could really hinder your progress in that sense. And so it is something that you'll need to kind of work through and face. Now, this is just one example. What I'm trying to really get at here is that perfectionism, as much as we see it as something so great and it's a great quality to have, possibly, outside of your awakening journey, it is not so much so here. And there may be other just patterns that it doesn't always have to be trauma related. It could just be a simple thing that is very true and inherently a part of you as part of your egoic identity, which now is starting to dissolve as you go through your ego death, and you need to work towards as part of the shadow work that is necessary for your awakening journey. Truly, the key thing here to remember about your journey is don't go chasing the shadows. They will be made known to you when it is time. They will surface so that you can heal them and work through them. And secondly, just surrender to the process and surrender to the journey. It does not help for you to overthink or overanalyze anything. You just have to trust the process and, surrender to the flow of what this journey has to bring. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope this was helpful. God bless.